Hello, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of paulzpodz. It's your favorite podcast host, DJ El Pablo. Here we go.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of paulzpodz. It's your favorite podcast host, DJ El Pablo. Are you trying to find true meaning to life and living? Then you are at the right place. This is paulzpodz, finding true meaning to life and living. So, this is the season finale for the Leave Love Learn series, the end of season 1. And in this episode, I'm going to be running through the journey so far since 2019 when the whole podcast thing started. The whole concept of sitting in my balcony and just thinking out ideas and writing them down in a journal and then recording, first with my phone, and then I started to evolve over time. So I'm just going to do a quick run through of how far we've come and where we are right now. I just was driving home this evening and the idea just popped and I decided to record. So the Leave Love Learn series idea started with trying to come up with a concept about living, loving, and learning. And in fact, at the end of all things, the main focus would be to leave a legacy. So the Leave Love Learn series, describes the 3 dimensions to humanity, with the ultimate being to leave a legacy. I attempted to break down, the whole concept and the dimensions, with easy bites so we could actually understand what it means to live life and to find meaning and beyond, So that was basically more like episode 1 and 2. And it got great reception, at least for a first episode, right? So we moved on to episode 3. And episode 3 was basically all about conviction. And that was more like something really, really heartwarming for me. Like basically it was something that, I had to think about and I had to research about to try to find, the best possible description to conviction as a whole. So the episode was more about, touching into the deeper meaning of life, while finding purpose, the pathway created by belief and standing for something that creates an impact on others. So it was more about conviction, about living. So I would advise that you go listen to it and then find out what has convicted you to decide to take the path to life that you have decided. So that's episode 3, and we went on to episode 4. Episode 4 was with regards to conviction as it relates to vision. And it was more like trying to create a relationship between conviction and vision and trying to help you to achieve your goal or purpose, So it got great response as well. It got a great response as well, and loads of comments and people wanting more. And then we moved on to episode 5, which talked about 10 ways in which smart people stay calm. This was one episode that I put my whole heart and soul into to try to, come up with something that was in depth, creating an understanding about how leaders think and behave and when faced with different types of situations. So it kind of helped me myself in life. Like when I think about, where I'm at right now and where I'm headed, I go back to listen to my episodes about 10 ways in which smart people stay calm. So it was heartwarming for me and was a heartfelt episode that I put my whole heart into. And so we built something from it, and we went on to episode 6, which is part 2 of 10 ways in which smart people stay calm. And I kept on with it, right? And it was a good deal. Like, it was a good deal knowing that you could actually stay calm in different ways, right? So of the 10 ways, it was more like from 6 to 10 ways in which smart people stay calm. And then we went on to episode 7. Episode 7 was about pride. I put my heart and soul into this one as well because it's something that kind of resonates with me. The difference between pride as a virtue or pride as a vice. We discussed pride and we talked about the misconceptions of the word and the relationship and how it helps us to live life meaningfully, right? So that was it. And then we got to episode 8, which is also one of my favorite episodes because I recorded one of my very good friend, Mr. Mark, and we talked about, things that had to do with our humanitarian service to the community. And he talked about boys because that's where her passion lies and that's where my passion lies. And I would like for you to listen. I don't want to give you any summary. We just had an interesting conversation about boys, and it will help you if you listen. It will help you understand if you listen. So go for it. That's episode 8. And episode 9 was 9 success lessons from Usain Bolt's absurd Rio Olympics. Interesting episode, 9 success lessons from Usain Bolt's absurd Rio Olympics. It's a good episode you should listen to. Talked about the dimension into understanding the simple rudiments of success from the world's fastest man. Go ahead and listen and use his achievements to understand different facets of life. And then episode 10, something that also resonates with me. More like a question: can dads be heroes? And it was something deep and near and dear to my heart, and it is what is going to create another series we're going to do in season 2, a mini series. It has already been scripted. It just needs to be recorded, but not now. But yeah, I had a conversation with someone about this topic, and I also had a conversation with Mr. Mark about this topic, and it really opened some doors into writing. So I wrote down 2 episodes in a mini series. It might also break out to 3 episodes. So, but yeah, can dads be heroes? Go listen. And then this was episode 11 was recorded at the beginning of the year 2020, before all of the whole pandemic shenanigans that went on. But yeah, early 2020, I was in a new phase of my life, and I wrote down this episode about just a very short word: start. Episode 11. So if you're starting your year, it could be helpful for you as well. If you've not started yet, or if you started and you haven't gone to somewhere, or you haven't gone to a place where you need to go to, start is the best place to start. And because 2020 is the beginning of a new decade, it was very important that we did something in that light. So start. And then this one, episode 12, I was in a very interesting place, but it inspired me to write this: 5 choices you regret for the rest of your life, or 5 choices you regret forever. This was written in May 2020, and it's about the deep dimension of decision making, right? And about our choices from the past, and how we can make better choices for the future. You should listen to as well. Makes great sense if you listen to it, about choices you make that would change your life forever. And then we got to episode 13, 11 things you should do in 2020. So this basically was released in July. So it's more like, half the year has gone, just like half the year has gone now. And we're in the second month, in the third quarter, in the year 2023. It's never too late to start, and it's never too late to reevaluate where you are. So 11 things you should do in 2020. And I think you should also inculcate it into your plan for 2023. 11 things you should do in 2023, with August, September, October, November, December left to go. And then the next episode was another good episode. Episode 14, taking responsibilities for your action. This should be part 1, because I featured a friend, Esther Ubong, and she talked about taking responsibility for your actions and what it means to respond to your ability. And then episode 15 was also the part 2 of taking responsibility for your actions from my own perspective. And it just threw more light on episode 14 and the 4 things you can do to take responsibility for your actions. And then episode 16 was about the woman. It was I think it was a poem I wrote, or a piece I wrote about the woman. I was in a very, very interesting place. Yeah, but this is a special episode that commemorates the International Women's Day as of March 8, 2021. And then episode 17, I'm working on myself. This got rave reviews because it begged the question, do you really know what it means to work on yourself? A lot of people keep saying, I think this should be a line from the episode. A lot of people keep saying, I'm working on myself. But are you actually really working on yourself? It's not about just saying I'm working on myself. What are the things that you're doing to work on yourself? This episode will help you understand it even better. And then we moved on to Father's Day, episode 18, the father, a special episode to commemorate the fathers, the role of fathers in the lives of the family, in the lives of people or members of the family. It is very important to emphasize that, and I try to do due diligence with it. And it just talked about the very important role that fathers play in the lives of the children and the family. And I would like you to listen, because we can never overemphasize the role of the father in the lives of the members of the family. Just as the role of the mothers or the woman is important, so is the role of the man or the father, especially in the lives of children. And episode 19 was about being thankful. I think this was released somewhere around Thanksgiving. So I was being thankful. What are you thankful for? This is a question that has been put out in the podcast. If you check Spotify, where you listen to your podcasts, you see that question. I think you should listen to the episode, and then it should give you some ideas about what you should be thankful for. So, what are you thankful for? It was a Thanksgiving season, so it gave me a reason to be thankful about so many things. So, yeah. And we get to October 20th, episode 20. So it's a 2010-20. October 20th, 2021 was a very sad and sorrowful month, sad and sorrowful day. And it just kind of ushered us into a new era in the youth of Nigeria, taking charge of their destiny. So I'd like you to give it a listen. I don't want to just go deep into explaining how things went with that, but it was an emotional episode for me, and you should just give it a listen. And then we went to episode 21. What does it mean, or what does Halloween mean? You know, I've been thinking about it, and I had been thinking about it, and especially in the Western world, Halloween is heavily celebrated the last day of October. So what does Halloween mean? So I explained it a little bit, gave you a bit of a concept, and then built up, so that you can know what you're celebrating every time that time of the year comes, October 31st. And then we got to episode 22, which came in the new year, 2022. How to protect or safeguard your mental health in 2022. It is also very relevant in this 2023 because a lot of things are happening in the world. And I featured my very good friend. Actually, we went to primary school together, and we also met in uni. We also went to the same university for a couple of years before she moved to another university to study what she studied, to be able to give us the great knowledge that she has in clinical psychology. So I'd like you to give it a listen. How to protect your mental health. How to safeguard or protect your mental health. Then we went on to episode 23, which is also another thing that resonates with me. And I think I got a lot of comments from people who wanted more from this. The 5 love languages. And we started, talking about all of the love languages as written by Gary Chapman. And this was an introduction. And we went to episode 24. It was also talking about the 5 love languages, acts of service, and from 24 to 28 and 29 were all about the 5 love languages. And it got to episode 29 where we concluded on all of the 5 love languages and how you can actually have a conversation about about the love languages with your partner to try to bring it into context and all. So it was a very good, interesting concept to break down. And then episode 30, which we will still talk about in season 2, gaslighting. I have a few scripts and concepts already scripted for gaslighting, and I might also potentially record this on YouTube as well. So watch out for the YouTube channel. So episode 30 was gaslighting, something that really touches my heart. And sometimes some people do it without them knowing that they're doing it to their partner, to their friend, to their family members, and all of that. And some people might be going through it without actually knowing. So it's very important that you know whether you're being gaslit or not. So it was very interesting to actually break that down. And then I will further break it down in season 2 with greater, better, more expansive ideas, with some things that I have seen and experienced and heard from people, and some videos that you might want to watch. So season 1 has been an interesting season. We are taking things up a notch in season 2, and we'll have more features in season 2. I was supposed to feature a good friend of mine, Miss Praise Ogabi, but due to some technical difficulties, it didn't happen as I envisaged. So we're going to feature her in season 2. this is something that's definitely going to happen. It's been in the works for a long time, like in the whole of like 2022 to like half of 2023. It's been in the works, but different schedules, different time zones, different times and things, so it kind of made it difficult to actually feature her. But we're going to do that. We're going to eventually do that, and it's going to come good. So yeah, thank you very much to all the listeners. You know yourselves, the loyal listeners, like that always look forward to me recording, me bringing out content and all that. I really appreciate you. I really love you all, and I thank you for being so supportive throughout this whole journey of the whole season 1. Like, there's a whole lot of content coming out. We're gonna have like really interesting conversations to bring to your ears and to your screens. Like, we're going also on YouTube as well, like to properly be on YouTube, so you can actually have access to these podcast contents. You might most probably just see the clips on YouTube, and then you would have to watch the full episodes on the podcast streaming platforms like Spotify, most importantly, amongst others. One thing about this podcast is that it is on every podcast streaming platform. Whatever link you click, be it Apple Podcasts, be it Radio Public, Pocket Casts, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, so many podcast platforms. Just check, like even Audible, Amazon Podcast, Amazon Music, it's all there. So listen, and don't forget to send in your feedbacks. Your feedbacks are very, very important to the journey. They're very important to to what we're trying to achieve here. So thank you very much for listening so far. It's over 22 minutes already. I really want to appreciate you all, and I look forward to bringing more content to your ears and to your screens. God bless your heart, and I'll see you in season 2. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to paulzpodz today. We hope you've learned something valuable to help with your daily life and living. paulzpodz is on social media, and you can literally find paulzpodz on every social media platform where it is. Just simply search at paulzpodz on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And you could also send an email to paulzpodz@gmail.com for any advert, questions, suggestions, or sponsorship. And also subscribe to paulzpodz on all of the platforms where you find your podcasts, ranging from Spotify to Google Podcasts to Anchor, and anywhere you find a podcast, Castbox, Beta Radio, Breaker Radio, any platform whatsoever, Apple Podcasts. And just subscribe and listen, and God bless your heart.